In today's episode, we talk about the new IAB Dynamic Content Ad Standard. Pinterest will soon allow advertisers to reach consumers through their phone's camera. Google announces Android Go, and the latest data on smartphone adoption in India. It's Wednesday, the 24th of May. My name's Giles Hurst, and you're watching The Additive by Exoclick, the show that brings you all things ad tech. Hello and welcome to the show. So let's kick off with some news from IAB. The IAB works with brands and agencies, publishers and ad tech vendors to introduce new ad formats and set online advertising standards. Now, many brands recognize that content, context and data-driven marketing is a great way to keep consumers engaged if the content could be personalized to a user based on their interests and demographics. So, the IAB has seen a need for a new standard that describes not an ad format, but the content that would ultimately form an ad, which is called the Dynamic Content Ad Standard. So what does this new standard deliver? Essentially, it defines the content of an ad using metadata or a schema to describe each component or asset contained within the ad. That could be an image, copy, animation, video, etc. Now, these assets can be organized into groups and rotated or selected based on data triggers by serving platforms, and then measured for creative and media optimization. For an example of ads using these standards, you can see a live working example here. As you can see, the Generate JSON button at the bottom of the creative allows you to see how the standard is used to describe this cool-looking and personalized ad. Now, this standard is adaptive enough to accommodate all of the ad formats in use today and future formats that have yet to be created. The IAB has added code to GitHub for developers and marketeers to use. Visit iab.com/guidelines for more information. With its 175 million monthly active users, Pinterest will soon allow advertisers to reach consumers through their smartphone's camera. Now, currently the company allows the ability to connect advertisers with potential customers through instant ideas. This is a feature on Pinterest where a small circle at the bottom of a pin will take you to related pins. But the company plans to pitch to advertisers that they'll be able to reach potential customers who are snapping photos with their phone's camera of the things that they like. So how does it work? Well, for example, say you're at someone's house and they have a new chair, a chair like this. Instead of asking them where you bought it, you could open Pinterest and snap a photo. Currently, Pinterest would return a set of products of a similar style, but the proposed new option would allow advertisers to be able to reach a highly targeted audience of consumers who like a particular style of furniture by inserting their own ads in Pinterest visual search results. Now, what's interesting about this technology, and instead of typing a product description for the chair in a search engine, the camera itself becomes a search engine for products. With 2 billion Android devices currently in use around the world, in order to grow, Google is now thinking about the next 2 billion devices, which will come from emerging markets. Those markets require lower speed phones and rely on more limited bandwidth. So at Google I/O 2017, the company announced the launch of Android Go, a lightweight version of the upcoming version of Android O, with its own optimized apps and Play Store. So how would Android Go work on your smartphone? Well, basically, the operating system can run on devices with less than 1 GB of memory. The Play Store will highlight apps that can run on these cheaper devices, and the app should weigh no more than 10 megabytes, work well when you're not connected to the internet, and support devices with slow systems on a chip and little RAM. Now, for instance, YouTube Go will be an optimized version of the YouTube app. It will have a new preview feature so that you can have a look at a video even before it's loaded. And once you know for sure that you want to watch this video, you can select the quality of the video even before you play it also, so it doesn't eat up all of the data allowance. And if you're on Wi-Fi, you can even download the video and watch it later. So, in the future, all versions of Android are going to ship with an Android Go variant. As Android becomes more powerful, Android Go seems like a smart move to expand into emerging markets. Google hasn't announced a hardware partner yet. And this ties into our next story regarding India. Now, India is still a potentially huge growth market for smartphone adoption. Figures by Gartner suggest that smartphone sales may have accounted for just 50% of the total mobile phone sales in India during the last quarter of 2016. Now, this is way behind countries such as the US and China, where 96% of mobile sales are for smartphones. Now, according to eMarketer, 1 in 5 or 20% of the Indian population are expected to own a smartphone by the end of 2017. So, eMarketer also points out that as network services improve, consumers are much more likely to swap to smartphones. For example, India's Reliance Jio, the LTE mobile network operator, rolled out a lower-priced 4G service late last year, which prompted swift consumer adoption and has forced competitors to drop their prices. The operator reportedly sold 2.6 million low-cost 4G smartphones in Q4 of 2016, so it evidently comes down to pricing, so this could be a perfect fit for low-cost smartphones running Android Go. And so just a quick reminder that Exoclick's native advertising cashback promo ends on the 31st of May, so if you haven't tried out this highly effective ad format, now's the time to give it a go. So that wraps up our show this week. I hope you've enjoyed watching The Additive. Until next time.